Hey everyone, so today we're going to have a look at how you can get the most out of a visit to Xcaret in a single day. One of the first decisions we made was to actually get a transfer included with the entrance ticket for Xcaret from the hotel. Something that in hindsight we probably would have done ourselves if we'd have realised how long it would have taken and also how many other opportunities there were for them to try and sell us additional experiences. Once we arrived, we were welcomed with a harpist out front. We were able to get in with our pre-booked tickets and get stuck into the day.
We decided to do the underground rivers first, as it tends to get busy later on in the day. We picked the Rio Azul route as we wanted to see the waterfall at the entrance.
One of the first things we noticed is that when they say underground river, it really is underground, with a short walk from the main area at the front down to the opening pool.
The water was a little chilly getting in, but once you're in, you get used to it.
One thing we noticed was with the Xcaret Plus tickets, you did have the option to use flippers in the underground rivers. As it turns out, you can't always reach the bottom. So these are a great idea given that the route are about 1 kilometre in length, albeit there are ropes you can pull along.
As it's an underground river, it can get a little dark, but you can always see where you're going and the water is exceptionally clear.
As you navigate the crystal clear waters of the underground river, you go through many different areas including mangroves as well as other vantage points that you can get out and have a look. One tip would be to absolutely make sure you put your sunglasses in the bag the porter takes from the start line to the finish line, as unfortunately the Mayan underground claimed mine.
As it's all natural, you will find there are some fish in the water, something that's great to know before you get there and find a surprise.
Be sure not to only look below the water for wildlife, because above the water you can also find plenty of coatis and spider monkeys clambering through the trees.
I thought I'd get out and take a closer look. I didn't realise this little guy would want to do the same.
As you're swimming along and throughout the park entirely, there are plenty of photo points that you can use if you've paid for the package. By scanning your wristband and standing and posing, it'll take a perfect photo of you to save you having to do this yourself.
Finally out of the river, we caught up with some flamingos and headed out towards the beach.
Having finished up at the beach, we decided to walk up through the archaeological site back up to the Xcaret Plus area so that we could get dried off and changed.
The Xcaret Plus area is really large. It has plenty of lockers, toilets and changing areas.
And plenty of wildlife with baby spider monkeys if you're lucky enough to catch them. Having worked up an appetite with our 1 kilometre underground swim, as part of the Plus package we also had lunch included, so we headed up to the Jalisco restaurant for some traditional Mexican cuisine. Some truly fantastic food in buffet style with a live mariachi band as well.
Whilst walking about, there are plenty of other photo points and lots more wildlife to see.
Whilst there's plenty of wildlife as you're walking around, as part of the park they also have some of the typical indigenous species to Mexico that can be seen, including some big cats like jaguars.
Next we headed to the bird aviary with over 1,500 species and several layers to explore.
Make sure to like and subscribe for all your tips, tricks and travel content. After the bird aviary, we headed to the butterfly pavilion. This was one of my favourite places in the park as they have hundreds of species of beautiful coloured butterflies. This was towards the middle of the day and it got really hot, so we didn't spend too long here. Finally, out of the scorching heat in the butterfly pavilion, we headed down through the archaeological site within the park. Something hugely impressive to see how they'd fused the new elements of the park with the historical Mayan architecture that was there from thousands of years ago. Interestingly, this actually looked a lot like some of the ruins that we'd seen down in Koba as well, something we'll get onto in a later video.
Later in the afternoon, we were lucky enough to see the horse show before the main evening performance. It was great to see the control they had, but also the bond that they shared with the horses. On our way to the evening performance, we were lucky enough to see a band of coatis.
Whilst walking to the evening performance, we were able to also check out some of the other big sites within the park. The evening spectacular performance is absolutely that, representing all the different regions of Mexico in one big show. Absolutely worth it. It can be a long day, but definitely do it.